who has been on the verge of winning a world championship. Got a shot in August of last year taking on Prince Nassim Hamed in Connecticut. Round number 2, Sanchez let his power do his talking. He nearly had Hamed out, but things turned around in round number 4, and the Prince was able to score an impressive knockout. But Sanchez says those were the building blocks for his future.
I wasn't disappointed. I mean, it made my confidence higher, and it made me a better fighter. So, I mean, I learned a lot from that fight, and I'm just going to use that to my advantage.
It certainly helped Sanchez in his next fight. He would take on a former 2-time world champion in Luisito Espinosa. And Sanchez showed his power and was able to put Espinosa away in the 4th round. Now Augie Sanchez faces another test tonight.
I definitely see a victory. I could either make it an easy fight or a hard fight. And I'm going to try to make it easy as possible.
How do you make it easy?
Just staying focused and doing what I have to do instead of worrying about what he's doing.
His opponent is John Johnson, the former WBA bantamweight champion of the world. 29 wins as a professional, 22 knockouts. It's a career that's been plagued by problems outside of the ring, but Johnson is focused now. Johnson feels that he is ready to make another run at a world championship. He first won the WBA bantamweight championship in 1994 against the heavily favored Junior Jones. Johnson would score an 11th round stoppage, the highlight of his young career. But he would lose in his first title defense, and then in 1999 venture to South Africa and come up short again for the IBF Junior Featherweight Championship. But Johnson feels that his time is now. He is clear both in and out of the ring. He strung together a couple of impressive wins like against Antonio Diaz and Harold Gray. Johnson knows that tonight is a critical fight for him, but he's sound of mind and body.
It took me a long time to grow up and stuff. I wish I would, what I learned now, I wish I would have known them back then. Yes, obviously, it's I did a lot of changes in my career, my lifestyle. I cleaned up. I don't take life for granted now, and everything that I do now, I do it 100% towards the ring, towards my boxing career. Now I know I'm 33 years old, so I ain't got too much time left.
Johnson is craving for respect. So is Augie Sanchez. There should be fireworks in the desert tonight. Time to break down the strategy as we take you inside Atlas's world.
For Augie Sanchez, the IBF number 4 rated contender, your fight plan should include that. Once you're in, you stay in. Augie, you're good at getting inside position, so once there, stay there and hunt. Don't pull straight out. You'll get caught. Make him miss and make him pay. You're good at moving and avoiding punches, but it doesn't mean much if you don't punch back. Take advantage of openings and make him pay. If you pull back, have a plan. I said you shouldn't step back once inside, but if you set a trap from the proper distance, you can lure him to you by stepping back, then looking to counter. But John Michael Johnson, you'll take a big step up if you can pull the upset tonight. Jab your way in. Don't weep. Sanchez is a solid counterpuncher, so if you reach in, Augie will nail you. You've got to jab your way in. Walk around the block. Have a habit of standing in front of your opponent. Against Augie, you can't. His quick combinations and hand speed will get you. Move, give him angles. Don't lay in front. And finally, be smart, be safe. Here you wait for just the right moment to punch after your opponent commits first. When the coast is clear, go to work. That's a smart fighter.
John Michael Bam Bam Johnson made his way into the ring. The former WBA bantamweight champion, former USBA junior bantamweight champion. 126 pounds, 29-7, 22 knockouts. Has 3 wins in his last 5. Good solid wins against Harold Gray and Antonio Cello Diaz. Kid Vegas, Augie Sanchez being introduced to the crowd, coming off an 8-month, 3-week layoff, which is the longest of his career. Had kidney stones the morning of the weigh-in for his scheduled fight against Robbie Peden for the NABF crown. 28-2, 25 knockouts. Has won 4 of his last 5. Had Prince Nassim Hamed hurt, but got knocked out in the 4th round. He's never been past 8 rounds, only passed the 7th round once. About a 4-hour drive from Las Vegas to watch Augie Sanchez. Unified rules are used for tonight's main event. One of the minor world titles is at stake. No 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. Fighter cannot be saved with the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop it. Accidental foul. They'll go to the scorecards after 4 rounds are complete. Well, Augie Sanchez ready to roll. Had a cut left eye in his last bout. Johnson was down in the 4th round of his bout against Harold Gray, but he stopped him in the 7th round. Johnson, a notorious slow starter. The corner of Johnson feels that Sanchez has a weak chin, and boom, right hand puts him down.
There you go, wow. That was a timed punch. Weak chin or no chin. That was perfectly timed. Over the left hand.
Augie Sanchez is counted out, but they're going to stop the count at 2. He got rocked, and then a right hand put him out. And John Michael Johnson and his trainer, Tony Ayala Sr., told me yesterday there's a glass jaw on Augie Sanchez, and we will shatter it.
The experience of the former world champion Johnson, knowing when to throw the punches. He timed the right hand in a perfect spot there over the left hand of Sanchez. Sanchez never saw that punch.
His wife Sandra gives him an embrace in the ring, and Augie Sanchez is still down, and his eyes are closed. Now they're asking him to open his eyes. The doctor is looking at him. They've put some water on the back of his neck. His eyes are still closed. He's taking a deep breath. His trainer is Pat Barry, who is the father of Augie's wife, Dawn. And Augie now opening his eyes. And they'll get him up slowly in stages. He was knocked out cold.
The commission is just being careful. And taking it step by step and using precaution. Just being careful.
They're pleading with him. Augie, open your eyes.
Come on. Open your eyes. Sit down.
He's still out, Teddy.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Let the doctor talk to him. Stay with me. Stay with me.
See, right now they're restraining him from getting up. They want to sit him up on the stool, which they just brought, and take it in stages. Doing a responsible job here.
Miguel Diaz with the hat on.
How you doing, baby? Okay? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
31 seconds of round 1.
The former world champion Johnson, who has 22 knockouts, now 23 knockouts, a sharp puncher, and most important, a guy who knows when to throw the punches.
So much for being a slow starter by his own admission. And there's Augie with his wife, Dawn. I still don't think Sanchez knows he's in Indio, California right now. He got rocked early, and then Johnson timed the right hand. Take a look at it right here, Teddy.
Okay, now let's go to the point.
That's the knockout.
Right hand over the slow left hand of Sanchez.
Sanchez had already been rocked, Teddy, so he was a little wobbly at this point, and then the right hand puts him down. Unfortunately, Sanchez is up now and walking. And you see he's just out. He got counted out, but John Michael Johnson, known as Bam Bam, has had numerous drug problems, out of the ring, said at the age of 33 it was time to grow up. And he dusts Kid Vegas, Augie Sanchez, at 31 seconds of round number 1.
Bob, I say it a lot of times, a jab is a great weapon, but it can be a dangerous weapon. If you throw it slow, or from too close. Sanchez made both mistakes. Threw it slow and from too close and got timed by a good right hand that he never saw.
So John Michael Johnson, who hopes to work his way into the picture. Right now he's not ranked in the top 10 in the featherweight division. Says he'd love a shot at Marco Antonio Barrera. Prince Nassim Hamed wants to go where the money is. And good to see Augie Sanchez is up, although he is still shaking out the cobwebs. But he did get up and he did walk back to his corner.
He's okay.
And they will take their time. And it seems that Sanchez is okay and he's regrouped at this point. But suffers a vicious knockout at the hands of John Michael Johnson at 31 seconds of round number 1. Johnson and his people predicted it. They felt that Augie Sanchez's weakness was his jaw. And a right hand, perfectly placed, perfectly timed, put down Sanchez and knocked him out at 31 seconds of round 1. 30th win. 23rd knockout for John Michael Johnson. Here's Brian and Max.
Bob, Teddy, thank you very much. 31 seconds in, the main event is over. We expected offense. Max, we were ringside when he fought the Prince, and there are some guys in all sports that are just more susceptible to being concussed. And I think Sanchez is one of these guys.
First of all, you got to say a tremendous win for John Michael Johnson. Congratulations to him, because it's a tremendous win. As vicious a knockout as you'll ever see. It's an instant classic KO. I mean, you're not going to see a cleaner, more beautiful knockout than that in a way, but it was savage and scary. You know, usually I'm not scared by one-punch early rounds knockouts. The kind of knockouts you have to be scared about are guys sustaining punishment over the course of the fight, over 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds, consistent punishment. But that scared me, and Brian, I agree 100%. The way he fell against Hamed Sanchez, the way he just fell there, something about the way he responds to punches, even though they're tremendous punches, that's a little bit frightening. And Augie Sanchez also deserves a lot of credit for being hard-headed enough, even if he's not so hard-chinned, to come back after that vicious Hamed knockout that would psychologically destroy most fighters and beat Espinoza in a good fight. He could probably come back from this, and he may go on to have a successful career. I don't want to see him fighting anymore. I don't like the way he's responding to those knockouts. I don't like the things I hear about him out of the gym and the way he responds to punches even in the gym. But I will say for John Michael Johnson, another guy who I'm also not crazy about fighting anymore, Junior Jones, is still fighting. They could have a rematch because Johnson already holds a win over Jones. Jones has a win over Barrera. And certainly the winner of a John Michael Johnson, Junior Jones fight would have some kind of a mandate to fight somebody in the top 3 or 4 at featherweight. Although John Michael Johnson, with this win here, probably already has that mandate.
Yeah, Augie Sanchez, no joke against Prince Nassim Hamed. Again, he wasn't given credit for that knockdown, but he knocked down the Prince.
Right.
But then once he got touched, boom, out he goes. So we
Unsettling that knockout.
How good is John Michael Johnson? Again, I was going to get to and give credit to John Michael Johnson. Where does he stack up among the top featherweights?
This is his
how far up?
This is his 3rd consecutive good win. I have to sit down and think about it. Certainly in the top 10. And, you know, he's one of these guys where when he says he wishes he knew then, earlier in his career, he meant when he was maybe more physically gifted, what he knows now, the technical expertise he's gained, you have to believe him. He's, I think, probably right now in the most impressive little string of his career. And with this win over a young contender like Sanchez, an explosive puncher, you know, sometimes first-round knockouts seem inconclusive. Well, what would have happened if the fight got going? It didn't get going. It was a totally clean, vicious knockout. And you go in thinking you're going to have a great action fight. You wind up with a 30-second fight, yet it's not disappointing because that's boxing. As Larry Merchant says, my favorite quote, the theater of the unexpected. You don't know what you're going to get with this stuff.
All right, so a knockout in the first round. We'll get back out to Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio, California in a few moments.